start at 5:30 this week instead of 5:31. Let's mix it up. We're moving forward. Let's go.
Good morning and welcome to Hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Today is Monday. That's right. Today is Monday, August 5th, 2019. And what's crazy is today is the very first and very last time it'll ever be Monday, August 5th, 2019. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most of this incredible day. Fair enough? Can we do that? Can we make the absolute most of this incredible day? You know what else today is? Not only is it Monday, August 5th, 2019, but it's also only 11 days. 11 days until the first ever Grow Your Business for God's Sake event going on in Nashville, Tennessee, August 16th and 17th. I'm so super excited. Lisa Copeland, Brian Benstock, Danelle Delgado, Shaka Dyson, Sharon Lecter, Steve Brewster, myself. We are all going to be sharing the stage. We're also going to be having Q&A sessions, breakout sessions, and this is going to be an opportunity for us to teach you the proven methods to financial freedom. Doesn't that sound nice? The proven methods to financial freedom. We're also going to share with you the lessons that we learned the hard way. All of the things that we had to go through in business to get to where we are today. We had to go through it the hard way. We're going to show you how to do it so you don't have to deal with everything we had to deal with. And also, we're going to help you evolve into the next stage of your career. Whether you're making like minimum wage right now, or you are the CEO of your company, this is an event for you that you are not going to want to miss. It's going to be absolutely incredible. So I need you to go out. If you haven't done so already, you need to go get your tickets today. There is still plenty of time to make arrangements. I've had multiple people message me over this weekend. They're getting their airline tickets. They're getting their hotels, all of that stuff. So I need you to get in there, get your tickets, and let's make that happen. Today is the day, Monday, August 5th, 2019. What's up, man? Last week we talked about friends, right? Last week we talked about friends. We went into depth of the power of friends, the importance of friends, and what we look like as a friend, and what do our friends look like that we are surrounded by. So we had this deep discussion on friends last week, and I thought it was really powerful. And then Friday came around, and Friday I yelled at everybody. I apologize. I wasn't feeling the best, and I kind of yelled at everybody on Friday and was like, bro, sister, I need you to invite 10 people to the group so we can get some more friends in here. And a bunch of you went out and did that. So for those of you that went out and invited at least 10 of your friends to the group last week, I truly appreciate you. I apologize I shouldn't say I apologize because it was effective, but I should probably yell at you when I feel a little bit better, right? Like if I yell at you while I'm feeling a little groggy, it kind of comes off a little like not as kind. So not as kind, but thank you for those of you that invited friends. Throw me some likes and some hearts. If you invited 10 friends to the group last week, I really appreciate you. There was a bunch of people that were posting comments. Somebody said to Liza Myers-Borges, they were like, thank you, Liza, for inviting me to this group. And we had some other people. We had a person who's newer to the group asking for prayers and things like that. So I just love it as our group expands. Like I talked about last week, anything that's not growing will one day die. And I don't know about you, but I'm not interested in this falling apart. Like I don't want Rise and Grind to die. I want us to continue to grow. So if you haven't done so already, do so today. Invite 10 more people to the group. What's up, Tony Tito, Washington? Happy to see you this morning. Listen, After I yelled at you on Friday, then came the weekend. And see, in my house, at the Lundy house, we've got this little situation. We have this situation where we had an incident with a toilet. That toilet incident ended up dropping water onto our hardwood floors. The hardwood floors, the insurance company came out, looked at the hardwood floors, and regretfully, they were discontinued. And we have 3,000 square feet of hardwood floors. And so the insurance company said we're going to have to replace all of it, and we'll pay to, as your family is displaced, we will pay to put you guys out, or while you guys are put out, to take care of you. And so that led us to deciding, because we found a house just a couple miles down the road that we could rent temporarily while they repair our house, and maybe we will stay there. We will hopefully stay there for a while. It's a much bigger house. It's about twice the size of our house now, and it's got 10 acres of land, and it's got a 2-acre pond filled with catfish and bluegill and bass, and my son loves fishing. And so we are in the process of packing up our entire house. And that's what we had to do this weekend, is pack up our entire house. We had to do some cleanup. We had to do some spackling. We had to do some storing. And at one point we ran out of boxes. And I made a post in the Rise and Grind group like, hey, we ran out of boxes. Can anybody help? And Mary Tipton, in less than 30 minutes, this is how powerful our friends are here in the Rise and Grind group. In less than 30 minutes, Mary Tipton was at our house with 72 brand new boxes. Can you believe it? 72 brand new boxes she dropped off at the house, which was absolutely incredible. It helped us to get through. So this weekend for me was interesting. Not only were we packing and doing all of those things that need to be done kind of in the same month that we're doing a Grow Your Business for God's Sake conference, it's also the same month that I'm speaking out in LA. I'm going to be on the West Coast for like 4 or 5 days. So not only are we in the process of all that, but I had this awful cold. And it was just beating me to death. And I know I don't ever get sick. So I know if I have a cold, that means my energy's off in some area, right? There's an area of my life that energy's off. Because like Jesse Miller said the other day, healthy people, germs don't make healthy people sick, right? There's somewhere that there's energy off. There's something going on, whether it's the stress from putting together the conference, the new career, the move, getting the house repaired, whatever, just not taking care of myself, not eating right, so on and so forth. And so I had this awful cold all weekend, and this whole process to me has been fascinating. This process of moving and what that looks like, and just handling all of the pressure, all of it. And so I'm going to dive into this process of moving. We're going to talk about it a little bit. We're going to talk about it this week. We're going to talk about this whole process of moving, but I'm going to dive into that. But first, before I do, you know what we got to do? We got to do some dancing on the show. It's how we get the energy up. If dancing on the show is one of your favorite parts, will you hit a like? Will you hit a like or hit a heart or something like that? I'd really appreciate it. I love the liking, or I love the dancing part. So this is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right. I need you to hit that share button, because I believe if we can change the way people start their day, it'll make a massive impact on this planet. I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. This is also the part of the show where I'm going to say good morning to you, and you're going to say good morning to me. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, say what's up. Good morning, Emily Goffler. How are you? What's up, John Allen? Great to see you, sir. Jeremy George is up in here, and Eric Willeroy. What's up, Giselle Barrett? My man John Caltonborn is up in here this morning. Susan Rose, the sweet Susan Rose. What's up, Mike Stevens and Janelle Griego? How you doing, Nathaniel Banks? I believe I saw Kristen up in here. There she is, Kristen Hot Tibbs. What's up, Casey Rossiter? What's up, Robert Fuller? We got Tanya Gitch in the house this morning. Scott Hobart's here. Jennifer Haskell's here. My man Tony Tito Washington is up in here. What's up, Don Sankey, Douglas Chitrin? We got Whitney Wells. We got Archie K. Of course, we've got Trendy Trenda and Raymond Culp. What's up, Max Clem? How you doing, Josh? Danielle Marie's up in here. Bruce Miller, my man Bruce Miller from New Orleans is up in here. What's up, Joe Leach? How you doing, Cece Eberly? We got Tony Thorstad. How you doing, Mia Reed and Jim Royal? Everybody's up in here on hashtag Rise and Grind. I love it. Hit the likes, hit the hearts, gives me energy, gives me fuel. The more you like it, the more I feel it. I love it. I love it. It's a relationship. See, what we've developed here is a relationship. I don't just speak and you don't just listen. We connect. We build a relationship. Speaking of building relationships, man, last week I've been sending out like video messages to different people. Instead of just sending out like an encouraging message, I've been sending video messages, and I've been loving the connections that we can make in today's society with today's technology. It's absolutely incredible. But let's talk about this word moving. Moving. Okay, when you look up the word moving, if you look it up in the dictionary, it's actually defined as in motion, operating, operational, working, going, on the move, moving, right? My wife and I have moved together 5 times in 10 years. Can you believe that? We've gone through 5 moves in 10 years. I've been through many moves prior to my wife, but we've been through 5 moves in 10 years. We first moved into a house on the west side of Lexington, Kentucky before we had kids and when we were still crazy. And that particular house, we had to move out because we didn't pay the rent. And if you don't pay your rent after a period of time, they're going to ask you to leave. So my wife and I, we weren't very smart financially, and we made lots of poor decisions back in those days. And so we were asked to move. What's up, Shauna Phillips? How you doing, Jonathan Gabriel Diaz? What's up, Raymond Culp? So that was our first move about 10 years ago. Actually, we did have Savannah. She was a newborn. And so we had to move out of our house. We had nowhere to go. But luckily, we fell into some low-income housing in Paris, Kentucky on David Lane. And so we moved into the low-income housing together, me, my wife, my daughter, and we started kind of putting our lives together. It's when I started working at Dan Cummins. We had another son, or my first son, another child, and then we made another move. We moved out of the low-income housing on David Lane. We made a move to our first townhouse. We moved into a townhouse that was close to the golf course, right? That was a big win for a guy like me. I'd never lived close to a golf course. I'd always seen the people that lived by the golf course. I'd always dreamt of living on a golf course. And so it was a big win for me and my family when we were able to move into the townhouse close to the golf course. Then we made another move from there when we were living in the townhouse close to the golf course. Then we found a house down in Squires Point, which is where we live now. And it was a brand new construction. No one had ever lived in it before. And so we went ahead and we bought the house. It was our first house that we bought together. And we made that move, which was a big move. It was a big move for my wife and I's relationship. It was a big move for our family. We actually had 4 bedrooms now versus just the 2. And we were having more kids along the way, and it was a matter of pride that we were able to buy our own house, and it had just under an acre of land and horses running in the background. It was beautiful. And now here we are. We're moving from that house, which is sitting right at about 3,500 square feet. Now we're moving into our new house, which this new house is crazy, man. I can't wait to show it to you guys. This new house is just a couple miles down the road, but it sits on 10 acres with a 2-acre pond, and the house itself is a little over 7,000 square feet. And man, what a gift. God put it in our path. He gave us the opportunity to make this move, and it's just incredible. What's up, Brad Wise? Great to see you, sir. We're talking about moving. We're talking about moving this week, man. We're talking about this whole process of moving. And so I've moved 5 times in the last 10 years. And each time that I made this move, Each time that we've made a move as far as our houses, there was a process that we went through, right? First, we had to identify where we want to go. And I want to make sure, Mike Brockway, I want to make sure that you note this if you're in here. If anybody's taking notes, first we had to identify where we wanted to go. That was step one. There was no talk of moving. There was no action that was going to lead us to move until we identified where we wanted to go. Second, once we identified where we wanted to go, then the second thing we had to do in all of these moves is we had to strip down our current house, the current house that we lived in. We had to strip it down and remove all of the clutter. That's what we did this weekend. We stripped everything down and removed all the clutter. The third thing that we had to do is then we had to recognize and repair the weaknesses in our current house. Like as we stripped down and removed the clutter in our house today, we noticed there's holes in the wall. We noticed we need some paint over here. We noticed that there's some vents, air conditioning vents that needed to be cleaned up. We noticed that there's a lot of areas that we recognized that had weaknesses that needed to be repaired. The fourth thing that we did in each of these moves is then we started to fix the weaknesses. First, we identified where we wanted to go. Then we stripped down and removed the clutter. Then we recognized and began repairing the weaknesses. Then we recognized the weaknesses that needed to be repaired. Then we fixed the weaknesses. Then lastly, we moved. We moved to whatever was next in our lives. In this process of moving, the reason I want to dive into it really, I think it's really important this week. What's up, Jessica Bailey? Great to see you this morning. How you doing, Terry LaPierre? The same process works in your career. So I want to talk about your career this week. I want to get you to a point where we're making more money this week. I want to get you to a point where you are performing at a higher level on your jobs this week. I want to tap into that ever so important part of our life, the work side of our life. We've tapped into a lot of self-development on this show, and that's so crucially important. This week, however, I want to talk about your job, your job, how you pay the bills. I want you to be moving in your career. And see the same process that I just discussed. What's up, Ed Hammonds? The same process that I just discussed of moving, how we move from house to house. This same process works in your career. See, first we have to have a target, right? First, we have to have a target. We have to identify where we want to go in our careers. Then secondly, we have to get rid of the excuses, which is the exact same thing as stripping down and removing the clutter. We have to get rid of all of the excuses, all of the clutter in our mind that's telling us we can only perform at a certain level. We got to get rid of that. Then we have to do a self-check. Step 3, right? We have to do a self-check, which is the same as in the moving process, recognizing the weaknesses. We got to do a self-check. Where are we weak? Then, just like in moving in our house where we fix the weaknesses for on the career side, it's called training. You recognize where you're weak and then you train to fix that. We train to get better. And then we go to step 5, which is we level up or we move to what's next. Do you see the similarities here? You see, there's a similarity in this moving process that we go through when we change from our house to a new house. We can use this success strategy. We can apply it into our lives as far as our work lives. We can apply it and we can move from where we are, whether it be minimum wage and we need a raise, or whether it be we're in a current leadership position but we need a promotion, or maybe it's as an owner, here's where we stand but we want to get to the next level. We can use this process. We can use this process. Now, see, we can dive into this and we can talk about this all week long, and you can listen and I can talk and you'll get nothing out of it. Or you can engage with me and I'll engage with you, and we'll both have an agreement and an understanding. The agreement and understanding that I want to have right at the beginning of this before we dive in, because this is going to be an intense week, the agreement and understanding that I want you and I to have is that none of this will matter. None of this will work if you don't make a change in your mind. Just want to make this really, really clear. None of this will work unless you make a change in your mind. In the Rise and Grind Planner, if you haven't gotten a Rise and Grind Planner, you can still go get one. Go to glennlundy.com. But if you already have your Rise and Grind Planner, today's quote says, and I quote, today's quote says, "The man who views the world at 50, the same as he did at 20, has wasted 30 years of his life." Think about that statement, Angela Venters Heath. Think about that statement, Mike Stevens, Jeremy George. The man who views the world at 50 is the man that views the world at 50, the same as he did at 20, has wasted 30 years of his life. You see, part of moving is determining in your mind that the pain of staying where you are today is worse than the pain of moving forward. I'll say that for you one more time. Part of moving, which we talked about earlier, motion, part of moving is determining in your mind that the pain of staying where you are today is worse than the pain of moving forward. I want you to notice something about that. Both things are going to hurt. You can stay exactly where you are. That's going to hurt. Or you can move forward. That's going to hurt. Both of these things are going to hurt. But you see, that's where the growth is. Your growth is in the pain. Your growth is in the struggle. There is no growth without struggle. You see, this is the week that I want to help you move. This is a week that I want to help you move closer to your goals. This is a week that I want to help you move forward in your relationships. This is a week that I want to help you move in your career. This whole week we're going to talk about moving. But first, I need you to make a decision in your mind. I need you to follow step one. Step one. First, identify where you want to go. And it's got to be different than somewhere that you are now. Yeah, it is saying your company name, Born for Couture. It's got to be somewhere different than where you are now. But as we go through this, I want you to know there will be pain, there will be struggle. It's going to hurt, but don't quit. Don't quit.
I almost quit. I'm a country boy. I'm from West Virginia. I don't know nothing about this big time stuff. I never even asked to be big. I wanted to be effective, not famous. Famous is the consequences of being effective. I didn't know nothing about being famous and I didn't like it. And so there I was. And when you first knew, everybody attacks you first and figures you out later. And the first time I was in the Washington Post, the article was so vicious it made me nauseous. I was so shocked that you could say that stuff about somebody you didn't even know based on assumptions and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. They piece it all together and you don't get to say anything back. So I decided I don't want this. I was preaching for Pastor Bishop Donnie Mears and nobody knew it because preachers can override their feelings and function. I preached, the place was on fire, but inside I want to quit. I told God, I'm through with this. I'm not going through this. I don't need this. I don't need that. I'm a guy who likes to go get his own chicken wings. I don't have to have all of that stuff to be happy. So I thought, I'm not doing this no more. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this because I don't need this and I didn't ask for this. I'm only doing this because of what happened in my life, of the circumstances that happened in my life. He put me on stage. I didn't ask for it. And when I saw how much it cost, I thought, you can have that right back here. You can have that right back up in here. I don't need it. So I was mad inside and I was hurt. And I stayed up in the fellowship with the pastors because I didn't want to go back to my room and sulk in my own sorrows. And they said, there's a lady downstairs waiting to see you. The service was over and the fellowship was over. The pastor was starting to leave. I was trying to outwait her. I thought she'd give up and leave. And when I finally came down the steps, she was there. And she was just a willowy bit of a woman. And she said, Bishop Jakes, she said, I've been in the hospital. She said, I was pregnant in my fallopian tubes, and the baby died in my tubes, and I was carrying around a dead baby, and the toxicity from the baby almost killed me. And she said, the only thing that kept me alive was hearing you preach. She said, if you hadn't been preaching to me every day, I swear I would have died. And then she looked at me and she said, it's for us. It's not for them. It's for us. It hit me so hard. I didn't even get her name. I got in the car and cried all the way back to my room because she reminded me why I was there. Last week when I texted you, I was up in Baltimore in D.C. and I was doing a book signing. And this woman came up to the table to buy sword. She said, you don't remember me, do you? I said, no. She didn't even look like the same person. She's all dressed up and gained weight. She felt like she wanted to say, she said, I met you in the bottom of Donnie Mears Church years ago, and I burst into tears. I lost it. I stopped the signing, and I jumped up and hugged her. If it were not for that woman.
You can't quit, my friends. You can't quit. See, it's time for you to stop watching my show, and it's time for you to start moving. There are people counting on you. There's an impact that you are going to make on this planet. Imagine if he would have quit. TD Jakes has made a massive impact in my life. He's made a massive impact on this planet, and he's touched millions and millions of people's lives. Imagine if he would have quit. Instead, he didn't quit. He just kept moving. He kept moving through the pain. The pain of quitting was worse than the pain of pushing through. And that's what we're going to talk about this week as we move. Because, see, there's no time for you to waste. We are running out of time, friends. You see the things that are going on in this world right now. We are running out of time. The world needs you. The world needs you to start moving. We need you to move in your careers. We need you to move in your relationships. We need you to make your moves because, see, you have to understand something. You, my friend, are a child of God. The God of the universe, the God that made everything. He made you to be the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be. See, I need you to understand the reason he needs you to be the best that you can possibly be is so that you can make an impact on other people's lives, so that your destiny can be fulfilled to impact others. That's why we're here. That's what it's all about. But that requires you to move from where you are now to where you need to be. There is another level. We're going to dive into that further this week. Listen, my friends, I know you're making good decisions. You're watching hashtag Rise and Grind. You're hitting that share button for me so we can invite other people in. You're inviting other people into the group. You're hitting the likes. You're hitting the hearts. You're waking up. You're attacking the morning five. All of these seemingly little things. I want you to understand that they are making an impact. They are making an impact on your friends' lives, on your family members' lives. They've made an impact on me. And I, for one, absolutely love you for it. I do. If nobody's told you that yet today, I want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. So do me a favor, go out there today and kill it. Just out there today and crush it this Monday morning. crush it, and then come back here again tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. We'll do it all over again on hashtag Rise
to use to
and
my
Grind.
advantage, to expand my vantage and level up my status. I got a calling, I feel like Solomon. Forever we ballin', forever I'm following the Heavenly Father. Whether I got 5 talents or 1, I'm gon' make it multiply until you tell me well done, well done. I don't do no stressing, no you see me flexing, yeah, praise is my weapon. I'm just reaching for my blessings, stretching, reaching for my blessings. Grow your business for God's sake, for God's sake. See me winning cause I got faith in God's grace. I've been putting in overtime, I've been working all day. Grow your business for God's sake, for God's sake. The mission is to be the best version of myself, make the world better when I've left, and build generational wealth. Teaching your lessons, leave an impression, increase my investments, keep reaching for your blessings. We rise, evolve, impact together, out here building bridges, stretch it to the max, ain't about my father's business, certain I've been working.